please work. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Metacast podcast. That's a podcast that explores itself, explores ourself, and explores the self in general. My name's Ty. I'm going to be your host.
And as always, I'm your co-host, Distance.
And tonight is the Metacast movie show about Knives Out. So Knives Out is a 2019 mystery comedy written and directed by Rian Johnson.
It stars Daniel Craig, Chris Evans,
Ana de Armas, and Jamie Lee Curtis, among others.
The budget was $40 million.
The box office take was a great 309.2.
We've got 2 Rotten Tomato ratings for you here. The Tomato Meter rating was 97%.
And the audience score was 92%. Both are very respectable. Those are very, very high scores. So what's your feeling? First of all, the movie is a contemporary whodunit. It follows an expert detective as he investigates the suspicious death of a prominent author on the night of his 85th birthday. A very interesting mystery movie. I haven't seen a mystery movie like this in a long time. It is a very, very cool feeling to the movie. I really enjoyed it. Let's go straight to the verdict. Like, should you watch Knives Out? What's your opinion?
Definite yes. Must see.
I agree too. I think it is so almost flat across the board. Yes, I think it's got something for everyone. I think almost no matter what you're looking for out of a piece of entertainment film, I think you're gonna find something in this movie. I think it's great. I think you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, I like the fact that there's some comedic elements. There's almost like a Pink Panther, like Inspector Clouseau kind of thing going on, like where there is some degree of buffoonery, but you know, that you don't take anybody in the film too seriously, no matter who they are, what their role is. Everybody has a moment where they're kind of a dipshit.
Yep.
And in some way, like, the characters are like, they're caricatures of stupidity, but there's a little bit that everybody can relate to in them all, I think.
And I think the cast did a great job of acting out each character too. I think every performance was spot on in this movie.
It was perfectly cast, and I'm sure that there was probably some quality directing involved in that too.
Oh, yeah. But
it seems like they all really understood the vision and like where the film was supposed to go, and I thought it was a really cohesive piece of work. And I mean, I adore the film. Yeah. I really do. It's one of my favorites of the last few years, and I didn't even mean to see it. my brother-in-law, was his idea, like last holiday season, I believe it was Thanksgiving, it was when we were together. He wanted to go see it, and fun fact, it was my nephew's first like grown-up movie he got to see, so he came with us. Also, I had to pee so bad the last like 30 minutes of the film, but like I couldn't leave. Like that's one of the things about it, was that like I just couldn't go.
Yeah, it does keep you in your seat, definitely.
I was like, this movie's just too good. Like, I can't not be here.
Well, yeah, last thing I want to say before we get into spoiler territory is I think that this is a great example of a film that had an awesome idea that was also executed perfectly. Very often I'll find a film that it's like, oh, that's a really cool idea. And then I watch it and it's like, oh man, they really didn't do justice to that idea. Or it's just a mundane idea that is like, wow, that was actually really well done. But this was like, it covers both bases. It's a very interesting, unique idea, and they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I think for me, it was almost like, well, I think that it helped that I didn't know what the idea was. And then that kind of contributed to the experience of enjoying the film. But yeah, I mean, I loved it, and you know, it was sort of like an off the cuff. You're like, what are we gonna do for next week? And I was like, and then just threw that one out there because the other idea I had was stupid. I don't even remember what it was.
But yeah, I thought it was great, and it was perfect that it was like actually on just Prime Video for free too. Didn't even have to pay to rent it or anything. That was a great choice.
Yeah, you can get it in Ultra HD 4K.
If
you got one of them TVs.
My choice for next week is on Netflix for free. So we get 2 weeks of like reduced budget, no discretionary spending.
Reduced budget.
Yeah.
No business expenses.
So yeah, let's spoiler territory is fine now. God, this movie was fucking sweet. So from the beginning, who did you expect at the very beginning, like the first time you saw it? Were you suspicious of someone first, or like where did it go for you?
You know, the way that they did the characters they did a very good job because they gave everybody a motive.
Yeah.
And they made everybody like unbelievably suspicious. I mean, Jesus Christ, the guy's name is Ransom, for God's sake.
True.
I mean, that sort of right there should have been an indication. But for me, I seriously thought that the plot twist or the big surprise was going to be that he actually killed himself.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be like the big reveal, was that it actually was a suicide. Like, it's so crazy though, because when because you have this big reveal when you're like, oh, Marta, and then the morphine and all the other shit. You're like, oh, damn. But then you also realize, oh, I've only been watching this movie for 45 minutes.
Yeah, that made me check the runtime, or like how far I was at that point. Yeah.
Because at that point, because in the theater, I was like, wait a second, this movie can't be this short.
Yep.
Like Daniel Craig and Chris Evans and basically the entire cast, like Jamie Lee Curtis is in there. I mean, like, these people are way too expensive for this movie to be this short.
Yeah, that's what I think is fucking crazy. For a movie that the budget was only $40 million, like 90% of that has to just be getting Chris Evans, Daniel Craig, and Jamie Lee Curtis on set.
Yeah, and one of the supporting actors, I need to look his name up real quick. The guy that plays Walt.
Oh, Michael Shannon.
He's done a lot of really good work.
Yeah, I love Michael Shannon, dude. He is fucking phenomenal.
Did you see the movie about Waco, where he plays the detective? The cop or whatever?
Dude, I really liked that.
He is brilliant in that movie. Like, he actually, the guy that they cast to play David Koresh was good. Yeah. But I thought that Michael Shannon absolutely just steals that. He like completely steals that fucking movie.
Hold on. Wasn't that a series on Netflix?
Yeah, it was a miniseries.
Okay. Okay.
Did I call it a movie?
Yeah, but for a second I thought there was like also a movie that came out. I was like, hold on, I'm getting these mixed up. Yeah, that was a really well done series though. I enjoyed that. There was a lot of shit about Waco that I did not know, because I was, fucking what? Yeah. 7, I guess, when that shit went down.
Yeah, we were really young.
Yeah.
He was in 12 Strong with I think Chris Hemsworth was in the military film.
I don't think I've seen that.
They're stuck in the middle of like Afghanistan, and they end up having to ride horses. It's a weird movie.
Like, how old? When is this? I mean, Thor days of Hemsworth, or pre-Thor?
A couple of years ago. It came out. I think it's still on Netflix. Maybe it came out a couple of years ago. But it's like, I feel like Chris Hemsworth typecast is like American Soldier now.
Yeah, after like Extraction, and
this was before Extraction though.
Oh, true. Yeah, true. I'm just meaning like that. Yeah.
I think it led to it, but
that's one thing that actually messed with me in this movie is like, I can't help but see Chris Evans as Cap. And like he is like, he's type in my mind, he's just virtuous and good. So it's like it was hard for me, man.
I actually forgot about Captain America. Like, he played that character so well that I completely forgot about Captain America. I was like, wow, this guy's an entitled little shit.
He did do it well, yeah. Oh, yeah, speaking of, did you know the scene where he tells everyone to eat shit?
Yeah.
Apparently,
was that improvised?
Well, apparently in the script it was "fuck you," and they decided to go for a PG-13 rating instead. So they and it was Chris Evans' idea actually to change it to "eat shit," which I thought was pretty funny.
I mean, he did a great job then. I mean, it got the point across. I mean, and there's like interesting, like weird, like complexities to the characters. Like, it adds a really interesting dynamic to the film when it's weird because like Marta vomiting when she's deceptive.
That was hilarious, by the way.
It seems like Benoit Blanc did not really take full advantage of that. And it's just so weird that, and also Marta was perfectly cast. Do you know what her last name means?
Armas?
De Armas? De Armas means of guns.
Yeah, I thought it was of arms. Yeah, or
of like weapons. But Armas is typically what they call it. I just realized that's a weird. I didn't know that's an interesting name.
She definitely has like gun runners or someone in their family, right? Yeah. Like back in history.
I don't know. I mean, but she was perfectly cast. You got like this innocent looking person with very large eyes. That contributes. Yeah. Yep. And you get like this like sort of, even though like at the beginning of the film, because that's something that I thought was kind of bothersome. Well, it's what I realized the second time watching it, because this was my second time, was that there's like this thing where the audience has to be okay with with someone trying to stop her from taking responsibility for what's just happened. Because Harlan is like, she just fucked up.
Yeah.
But Harlan is like, we have to get you out of this. And you have to make the audience okay with that. So the way they played the character, also being modestly dressed and wearing like Keds and like things like that, makes
super
the character
relatable.
seem,
yeah.
And I thought that they did that really well with Marta. I think that Ana de Armas was a perfect cast for that, in my opinion.
I think, she did a great job with it. So you just brought me to one thing that I really wanted to bring up that was kind of a glaring, just bugged me about this movie, was Harlan's plan to get her out of it. Everything I understand about what happens when a body is found and there's any suspicion of foul play tells me that wouldn't work. There is always a toxicology report ran. So what was his plan for explaining the fact that he would have been found with a crazy dose of morphine in his system?
Maybe he didn't give a shit because he was going to be dead. Maybe they were counting on the audience to be as stupid as I am and not notice that.
But that's not what,
instead of a fucking genius like you. That's the reason why I recommended this film to you, because I know you like to figure out what the fuck is happening before the end.
It just seems like the whole plan was to like protect her, but it's like no matter what, they would have like found that his body had a ridiculous amount of morphine, knew that his nurse gave him his drugs, and like unless he would have had to set up the scene to make it look like he injected himself with morphine to make that passable, or that someone else injected him with morphine, not slitting his throat. I don't know, that to me just seemed really strange.
Maybe he injected himself with morphine so he wouldn't feel himself slitting his I'm an idiot, just forgive me. I'm just stupid. Like, but it's funny because one of the things that I thought, I even wrote it down, was like, who better than a mystery writer to help you get away with something like that? And then like now, like you being like, well, he's kind of forgot about this thing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But I was just so caught up in like, you know, because he's got, was it Christopher Plummer?
Yeah.
He's got like this like wise old man vibe. So I was so caught up in his spot on acting. I was like, this guy knows everything. He's an absolute genius. Like he's lived long enough.
He does like very, like he has that very authoritative, when he says things, you trust him. Yeah.
Cool. And also like, where's Marta from again?
Well, I love the way they did
Ecuador,
that.
Guatemala,
Paraguay,
Brazil. It's like, oh, there's Paraguay and Ecuador. Isn't one of those? And then later on,
Brazilian nurse.
Ransom's like, hey, you're a Brazilian nurse.
Yeah. Well, I love that they do that. Is like there were a lot of subtle ways that they show you that this family just kind of fucking sucks. Like they're all liars. They're like the way that multiple of them say to her, like, oh, I wanted you at the funeral, but I was outvoted. And it's like more people tell you that than would have been possible to be on the losing vote. And it's just like, all right, hold on. They're just bullshitting her. Like they don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, they're all like very entitled, very like narcissistic, like really. And I fucking love the hypocrisy of everyone when Ransom tells them that they got in a fight about him being out. This will be good for you. And I'm like, yes. And the thing is, the way that they do it is it doesn't make you hate the characters. You just fucking laugh at them.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's the thing that's funny is like it's an exaggeration of the bad things about everybody, but you can kind of relate to it because we all kind of struggle with those qualities and those traits.
But it also like, I love the way it does it because you also don't feel bad for them because there's enough of a like comedic factor to it, or just enough of like you don't have empathy for them that it's just like like yeah.
I mean, they're such buffoons, but I love the part where, because I think Linda says to Ransom like, I think this could be the best thing to ever happen to you. But when Ransom leaves in the Beamer and says, I think this could be the best thing to happen to all of you.
Yeah.
His dad, Richard, doesn't even fucking get it.
Yeah, he's like, what's that supposed to mean?
Like, what?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, what a tumbling dickweed. But by the end of it, like I think justice gets served in a lot of ways because Linda, like you learn like with the lighter and their special way of communicating.
Yeah.
That like you finally figure out, Richard actually gets found out, and then that's pretty much that. But the one thing I thought was cool, the Star Wars stop on the speeder bikes. when Luke is running from the stormtroopers and
Yeah.
he abruptly stops. She does that in the car chase.
Yeah. Well, because she was in like a shitty Hyundai that couldn't outrun them, so it's like, what can I guess I can slam on my brakes.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty clever.
Yeah.
But every time anybody does that in a movie, I always think of Star Wars because that's the first film I can think of where somebody did that, like stopped suddenly.
Yeah, but isn't that one of the bad Star Wars? Wasn't that the Ewok movie?
Yeah, it was Empire Strikes Back. But dude, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Nothing's worse than Jar Jar Binks.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, thankfully they've never put that character in a movie because that would just ruin any movie he was a part of.
Wait, what?
I said thankfully they've never put that character in a movie.
Are you one of those people that forgets the... Okay.
You're gonna make me watch episode 1 at some point this year, aren't you?
Yes.
Next week, Star Wars episode 1. Oh god.
Soundtrack though, great soundtrack.
Yeah. But yeah, dude.
You remember? Well, it's Total Request Live. What was it called? War of Battle of Fates or some shit. Back in like when Total Request Live, like the super cool like MTV show where people would request things, that song from the movie with the music video was on that show.
Was it really the Duel of the Fates?
Like, that's
fucking awesome.
Duel of Fates?
Yeah, I think it's called Duel of the Fates.
It was on there, and like there's like a music video and everything, and it was like cool. in the top 3, I think, for like weeks. But
I did not know that. That's actually kind of cool.
Side note about Star Wars, yeah. I'll have to. I actually kind of want to look it up and see how long it was on there, but I remember that pretty clearly. And it's also, you can also tell like the thing you were saying about like the family being like, oh, I was outvoted and all that shit. Like, hey, you're part of the family. The scene where they all turn on her when they figure out that she got all the money.
Yep.
And like they're such like shitty people that it's like, and doesn't someone call her like a bitch or something like that?
I think so. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis does. Yeah,
at the end of the movie, right?
Jamie Lee Curtis does that. Yeah. At least
and that's so. Like that. Yeah, I think that it's a clear indication because you can kind of tell like that they don't really care that much about her. But my favorite part, and it was, sorry, Mom. It's because this was during the holidays. During Thanksgiving.
For some reason, I really thought you were going to say Holocaust there. I'm glad you said holidays.
When I went to see it, because there's like experiences surrounding the film was during the holidays. Mm-hmm. And of course, like everyone has that one relative that wants to talk about politics. Mm-hmm. So I love the fact that there's a scene where they're talking about Donald Trump and they are.
Yeah.
And they never mention it explicitly. But like I rolled my eyes at that because like it had just been like that. Like a couple days before during Thanksgiving dinner. That's funny. And that's like the only time I talk about sports. It's to change the subject to something else.
Well, I think that was done really well too because it keeps it timeless. You can watch that movie, four presidents later, and it's still like it'll probably still feel like it's topical. Yeah. But
for me, it made the characters even more irritating to me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm tired of this conversation. Like, can we talk about something else, please? And I thought that was fucking hilarious. But it's funny because, maybe there will be – because you could probably apply that to just about – there's several, like, different, like, politicians or public figures you could compare that to. So I'm sure in the future there will be more of them.
Yeah.
But, did you forget about the fact until later in the film that Blanc didn't know who hired him? Because I forgot until the end.
No, I kept that. I mean, that was always in the back of my head. I didn't know if we were ever going to find out, but like I knew that. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely on my mind. That it was like, yeah, what was the point? And I hoped that the final reveal was going to bring that together, and it wasn't just going to be kind of something left out. Which, yeah, they did that very well. Yeah.
Well, with Marta? I thought it was really cool because I understand that the writers and the creators and everybody involved in the film has to essentially manipulate the audience because you're trying to get them to feel what you want them to feel.
Yeah.
And filmmakers are really good at it. And there's times when I'm watching a movie where I'm like, nope, not going to do it. No, I'm not. I won't. And I'm like, I'm not going to like this character. You can't fucking make me. And then I think that the cool thing about Marta is that she thought the toxicology report was going to show something incriminating, and then she finds it and gives it to Blanc.
Yeah. Yep.
But as it turns out, she actually gets herself off the hook by her honesty because she couldn't handle deception, not just because she vomits when she does,
Mhm.
but I think there's something about her character that she just couldn't do it. Like,
Well,
she just couldn't allow it.
Same thing with letting Fran die. She saved Fran's life, and that would have been that was another part of like that's just her character is like, and I mean that probably speaks towards being part of the medical field, and you take an oath and everything but at the same time it's like you probably gravitated towards that field because you were a caregiver, had that kind of like tendencies anyways.
Yeah, that's true. And I just thought, I love the fact that they take the brilliant detective and make him kind of a dipshit. The donut thing.
Dude, I fucking loved the donut thing.
A donut with a donut hole, but there's another hole in the donut hole.
Do you know what?
Another donut.
That was going to be my favorite line, and I practiced that monologue for probably about an hour in the mirror. Like I really like
the whole thing
in his voice and everything too. I really went hard on that. Yeah, I was ready for that to be my line, except for now that we've talked about it, so I'm gonna have to choose a different one.
It's funny though, in the conversation we had about the little accent that he does. Like, I love when Ransom calls him like KFC, Foghorn Leghorn. Or
No. He calls him CSI KFC.
Which is. So did you like the accent or did you hate it?
I loved it.
Daniel Craig
I fucking loved it. I cannot wait for the next time he plays that role.
I wonder if that's like the Christian Bale Batman voice.
Oh, do you think it's like a divisive? Like, do you think some people love it, some people hate it?
I wonder if there's people out there that hate it, but also like there's nothing quite as prolific as the Batman character because everybody kind of felt compelled to see at least one of those movies. But I don't know if this is one that everybody's going to go see. I mean, honestly, like I love pretty much every bit of work that Daniel Craig does. Dude, did you see Logan Lucky?
Logan Lucky.
Oh my God.
If I have.
Daniel Craig does a different style Southern accent in that film. Adam Driver? The guy who plays Kylo Ren in the new Star Wars movies.
Yeah, dude, I love Adam Driver. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's in it too. I saw that a while ago. We should actually. I'm putting that on the list right now as we speak. I'm putting it on the list for potentials. But yeah, Logan Lucky was brilliant, and he kind of plays a dipshit in that movie too. So, but it's weird because he's like sort of like a somewhat brilliant guy that has a like sort of idiot in him.
Yeah.
Like the part where he's like talking in the car with Marta and he says the case with the hole in it. And he's like, a donut. And then he's like, I'm just going through the process. Let me know if this bothers you. I'm like, let me know if I sound like a fucking moron.
Yeah, because he is kind of like but he's also good. It's like it's not like he's like silly and stupid. It's just like he just has this way of doing things and saying things that are kind of like ridiculous because it is a movie that is like, I mean, like we've talked about with other movies, you have to like suspend disbelief. And I've done this thing. I've started where it's like, I accept that this movie takes place in a different universe than ours, where it's like, maybe the rules don't necessarily have to apply. And it's like, because why would you ever have a night where the guy decides to break things off with 4 members of the family, creating like 4 major motives to kill? It's like that's just not realistic. That would not happen in our world. But in this world, it was an awesome plot device, and it ends up with a really cool story.
Yeah, the whole film from back to front is completely tongue in cheek, like all the way through. And the fact when the cop says the guy practically lives in a clue board.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, there you go, spot on. Like,
there was a lot of stuff like that where, like, I mean, this I've never read any of her stories or anything, but I guess this is very much based on the Agatha Christie style of stories.
I never read any of them.
And she died at 85, so they had Harlan die on his 85th birthday. Like, there's all sorts of little like just Easter eggs like that towards the genre. And like in the very beginning, he talks about how he just got done solving some tennis case. And apparently that's a nod towards 1972's Sleuth, about whether like there's just like a lot of little like mystery Easter eggs in it like that for fans of the genre, which I feel like, did you ever see A Cabin in the Woods?
Fuck yes, I love that movie. It's a horror film for people that hate horror films, and I hate horror films. But it's one of my favorite movies ever.
But it's also, the way you said that, it's also a horror film for people who love horror films. it's because you can enjoy making fun of what's cheesy about the genre while still enjoying it. You know, it's like, I mean, we're both metal fans. We can talk about how cheesy it is at every break. Dun, 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 dun. Pass it to the other guitarist. Dun, 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 dun. Then the drummer's going to go, like, you know, there's things that are stupid. And like, but like, you can still love it while embracing the stupidity of that. And that's like, I love horror movies. And Cabin in the Woods is one of my favorite movies because of what it does to the genre. And I think that this is similar with mystery movies, where it's like, it's not poking fun of it in any way, but it is just like, all right, how many things can we clump together and kind of like shoehorn in here to like have little Easter eggs and fun things for people to play?
Yeah, and I guess the only one that I really noticed was the Clue board thing. And Clue is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Like, I love the actor from Rocky Horror that plays
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, he's fucking great in that. I love his whole little thing where he sprints around trying to put the pieces together. Like, that is one of my favorite scenes in any comedic film.
Yeah, Clue's fucking amazing. Yeah, I love it. My favorite line from Clue. And I was in the hall. I know because I was there. It's like such a stupid line, but it's just like there's so many. Oh man, that movie's great.
So how did you feel about the irony at the end that she didn't actually give him the wrong thing? Also, that bullshit about the viscosity and the blah 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 plunger yada yada that Blanc says to her.
Yeah,
horseshit.
You don't think that's real? I thought that was very realistic.
We should talk to nurses that we know and ask them about it.
I did. My mom that was like spot on. That it was
wait, what?
Yeah, she said that was like
shenanigans.
No, she watched this last night, but no, she said like, because, you know, first of all, you're talking about someone at the end of a long night that had something to drink. They're not like on their, you know, she even said like, I had a glass of champagne. I shouldn't be working, like but like, so they're not on their like A game, but subconsciously, you know, picking up that vial and the way that it like moved and everything, it felt the way that like it normally did with that medication versus the other one, which I actually don't know the viscosity between the difference between those two, if it would be like easily noticeable. But I mean, but she was just saying that it's like, it would definitely be possible to notice two different medications that you constantly were in contact with.
So it's not a completely impossible thing.
No, that's according to her, not at all. Oh my god, Ellie, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it.
Just because when you're deadpanning, man, you're so dead. So like, I was like, is he deadpanning right now? Like, I was like, no, okay, like.
But no, yeah, that's. I was doing my deadpan, but I was actually serious about it. It was, but yeah, it is like one of those things where, you know, you get the muscle memory of doing something a certain way, and something would tell you that it's off, and like, you know, a medication, if you're trying to draw it into a syringe and it goes at a certain speed and you're used to it always taking like 3 seconds and it takes longer, something would just feel off. And she would have noticed that during that like the process, if it was actually the wrong medication. But the fact that like everything went smoothly and she didn't think she messed up until she read the labels, it like should have told her, I guess, that like her muscle memory was on the entire time. She went through the steps.
You know why I think that I got so like up in arms about that, or why it pissed me off so much?
What's that?
It's like, you know how sometimes if you date somebody and they do something fucked up, then like later on, even though you're dating someone else, you're kind of paranoid that they might do the same thing. People do that.
Yes.
I got really annoyed in the movie Taken when the guy goes to pull out his gun, and then Liam Neeson's character, whose name I don't even know, is like, "Oh, you've gotten soft. You don't even know what a gun feels like when it's not loaded." And I'm like, literally nobody that's ever picked one up would pick it up and not recognize that there was nothing in it.
Right? Yeah.
It's like, emptied your bullet. Like, I'm still angry about that scene in that movie.
That it's still holding you over
so
years.
So it just, like, pisses me off about everything. I'm like, that's bullshit.
That's funny.
That no one, but for me, that was like, so they definitely would know. And this one I was like, oh, there's no fucking way. But I have no experience. So like, I'm sure it's entirely possible. And I'm sure there's like there's a few things that like each of us can do or tell that other people can't in some of the hobbies or activities we do, that other people might be like, that's fucking bullshit. You can't do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, the stuff that you do day in and day out, or the stuff that you do so many times where you build up that feeling to it. Yeah. It's like, it only makes sense for the people that are like the initiated, for lack of a better term, I guess.
But I totally interrupted your answer to the question that I asked about the irony thing to talk about that thing.
Oh,
sorry.
But no, I mean, I'm sorry, you're just asking about my opinion on the fact that she she didn't actually mix them up, right?
Yeah. Do you think it contributed to the film? Do you think the irony was entertaining? Did you think it was completely tragic, or like did you? Because it's a tongue-in-cheek film.
I thought.
So I'm wondering, like, if that actually.
I didn't expect that at all, and thought that was great, and I'm glad that it ended that way. I didn't want her to actually be like, you know, at fault, and then like, and you know, like it's like I talked about, she was the perfect innocent character. You were on her side the entire time. Like she really plays the like, I mean, the for lack of a better term, like the baby Jesus of the movie. Like there is nothing about that character that is like negative, right?
Yeah, I mean they worked really hard to make sure that there wasn't anything negative about the character. Did you ever watch the anime Tokyo Ghoul?
Tokyo Ghoul? No, I don't think so.
So he starts out, the main character Ken Kaneki starts out as like this sort of like aloof kind of like overly nice person that doesn't really stand up for himself, and like that's the reason why you keep watching, is because you want him to become a badass, because you kind of know like what's coming.
Yeah.
And I like the fact when Marta's on the hallway with Walt, she's like, oh, you guys could use your money to help me and my mom and lawyers. Oh yeah, fuck you, that's my money, bitch.
Yeah, like, that was like, great.
I mean, she didn't say that, but there's something about that. Like, I think that was like it creates an elation in the audience. Be like, yeah, tell that dickhead, you know, I loved him in that other miniseries, but tell him now because he sucks now. But you know, I think that there's things like, for such a kooky movie, I think that there's a lot of stuff that I think you can use in the film to address certain like aspects of like ourselves. Because like everybody's guilty of being a little entitled to some things sometimes.
Yeah, true.
And I think that you see like lots of entitlement in all the members of the family. And even like Meg, the cousin or like daughter or granddaughter that seems like okay, is still like manipulating Marta. Like calls like while the whole freaking family is watching. And then did your video just drop?
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it. I have no idea what happened to my camera. It's just like totally black.
Technical difficulties. It's all good.
Yeah.
But you think that Meg is calling to like be supportive or whatever, and then you realize, oh, you're just as much of a piece of shit as the rest. And then I thought it was cool that Ransom kind of seems like he's trying to kind of help out. Because you almost, I think the audience, or at least me, like I kind of wanted him to be good.
Yes.
And like that's where I think maybe, even though I'm saying that the Captain America never occurred to me, but I'm thinking maybe I was like, yeah, Captain America's got to be good.
Yeah, you can't go through 10 years of someone being a character and not still like subconsciously see them as that a little bit.
And maybe that's why they picked him.
Possibly, yeah, because this was after this. I mean, this was like post Endgame, probably, yeah.
Yeah, this was like right after that, I think.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when did Endgame come out? Was Endgame earlier in 2019?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. Let's see, Marvel.
August 26, 2019. I should have known that. I actually did know that date. I knew that. This
was around like October, November. So this was very close to that.
However. We don't know when it was filming or but either way though, it was still a decade of him being that character that was leading up to this. Yeah. So that may be a point. But yeah, that scene where they were at the diner, like I wanted them to like team up then and be like, okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna take the rest of the family down. And I wanted him to be the good guy. I'm glad it didn't go out that way, but that's definitely what I wanted.
The wrong knife.
And that was like some super heavy-handed foreshadowing earlier in the movie.
That there was like the whole big thing with the knives in it.
No, Harlan says when he's talking to Marta, he says like he's talking about Ransom, and he says, I see so much of myself in him, something about his stupidity, and he's like, yeah, he even has trouble telling a real knife from a stage prop.
Oh shit, he actually says that?
Yeah, he says that like way early in the movie. And it was like super heavy-handed foreshadowing for that scene where he tries to stab her with the fucking stage prop knife.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even remember the line clearly at all. But I just want to say the real hero of this movie, Catherine Elizabeth Callan.
Who the hell is that?
Catherine Elizabeth Callan plays Nana.
Oh, yeah, she was great.
She is
also
the best.
6 years younger than Christopher Plummer, that played his mom. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yep. And fun fact, on the old series, Lois and Clark, she played Clark Kent's mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's
her.
interesting.
But I thought she was brilliant in the role. I mean, like
dude.
What?
I mean, yeah, she was. But when you say that, it just makes me laugh because it's like she literally just sat in a wheelchair with the old lady expression on her face. I think she had 3 lines, and it was like, ransom, you're leaving, ransom, you're back, and ransom, you're back again.
And then she did laugh when the will gets read, though.
Oh, you're right.
When
yes.
gets screwed, she's like, ah.
You're right.
But like, I think that like Wesley Snipes, when he played Blade, I thought that Wesley Snipes was great because of the stuff he didn't say. I think the scenes where he was silent were the best. Or I know this is a contentious subject for me and some of my friends, but Drive, I think the shit that Ryan Gosling doesn't say is kind of what made the movie. But I thought that the grandma, like, or the great grandma for the family, like, I thought she was fucking great. I think she was one of the coolest like characters in the film, because for a character that doesn't really do much of anything, she added so much.
Well, it's also like what the other characters do and say about her that makes it so funny too. Like when Michael Shannon's like, Nana, do you want something to eat? Jamie Lee Curtis is like, she already ate the entire salmon spread. It's okay. Like,
it's just like sort of like kind of like yelling at her or whatever, like, you know, like how people talk to people that are hard of hearing.
Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, a lot of that was really funny, and she sort of ties the mystery together at the end too.
Yeah, true. Yep.
Because, you know, she's the one that's like, asks, "Are you back again?"
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, you never actually see Benoit Blanc talk to her. He just like says, "Oh, Miss, I just enjoy sitting over here with you." Like, I don't think she ever actually says anything to him.
Well, yeah, because he does say, like, it leaves that scene with him saying, well, I'll wait. And he just kind of sits there and then it, like, cuts out of that scene, right? From what I remember. Yeah. So it's like you could think that possibly if he waited there long enough, she did start to talk to him, or maybe he just waited and eventually got up. But
I wonder if she said something and they actually edited that out. I wonder if they cut, because that would have fucked up the character.
Probably. Yeah.
The fact that she didn't say much was kind of like, but I didn't realize that she was actually younger than Chris Plummer. Yeah, I had no idea. That's freaking hilarious. But I thought he was fucking perfect in that role too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the casting of everyone was fucking great. Like the kid was okay for his role, I guess, but it's like I wanted that to be someone I knew. You know, I can't think of someone that would have been perfect.
Why?
For that.
He's such a flat character.
Because
he makes the other characters interesting because of the shit they talk about.
Mm-hmm. But it's like, I don't know. I guess in my mind, if it was like the kid that played Joffrey, or the kid that played who was the fucking the jerk in Harry Potter, Malfoy. If it was someone like that you already kind of had a bias against, like,
I mean they're too old now. You know, the guy that played Joffrey was actually in Batman Begins.
Really?
He's the little boy that Batman hands his grappling hook to.
Oh, no way! I didn't know that was him.
Like, the other kids won't believe me, and I was like, dude, that's totally that guy.
That's interesting.
I need to look it up later, but I'm almost completely positive it's him, because like he has a very unique kind of like look.
Yeah.
I'm almost completely positive it was him. But the one that played Fran, wasn't she on Saturday Night Live?
I actually did not recognize her. Possibly.
Let me see. Who's Edie Patterson? I'm looking at her IMDb now. I'm curious. I feel like she played like the nervous like weather person, or like a nervous like news person that would talk weird. She was in the Tekken movie. I don't remember that.
I also in all reality, I don't watch much Saturday Night Live. I haven't seen dude, to me, it's
not the same.
Well, to me, Keenan is still new on Saturday Night Live, and apparently he is the longest running cast member at this point. So it's like I know pretty much no one on Saturday Night Live anymore. Like, Yeah, we're old, man. Saturday Night Live to me is still like the '90s version, I guess. Like when I picture it, I still picture like, God, yeah, like Adam Sandler on it, or like people like that. Mike like Myers, no, not that old. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess Dana Carvey. Yeah, Dana Carvey, Mike Myers. Yeah, like that time. Even Chevy Chase. Like that was like a little before my time, but that was a lot of like what I watched.
I think that Saturday Night Live is one of the more like polarizing shows across like ages of people, like periods of time. I think that it's a show that's been around for so long that there's very few people alive right now that remember before it. Like there's plenty of people that do, but I mean, not very many that you're gonna meet. Most of them are like, you know, like Nana and
yeah.
Which is funny because the kids in my family call my mom Nana, so I'm just kind of like, that's fucking hilarious.
That is funny.
I don't know. Actually, I'm kind of hoping she's not like that because I want to eat some of the salmon. Yeah, damn it!
Just all you do, you get 2 salmon spreads. One of them is visible to Nana. One of them hides in the kitchen for, you know. You work. You find your workarounds. You make it work. But yeah, this oh my god, dude. This movie, I really like. I can't say enough good stuff about this movie. I was such a fan. I was so pleasantly surprised. Like for me, it was really refreshing, and I feel like it has like reignited some of my like enjoyment of the like styles of movies that I completely forgot about. Like I feel like for the longest time I haven't watched anything but like superhero movies or like tearjerker dramas. That's been like my go-to for like a long time. So it's like I'd completely like, I don't know when the last time I saw a mystery movie was. And it was like, that was just so cool that it's like, it's a genre that I haven't seen in so long. There was so much done in it that was like kind of unorthodox and just like weird, but awesome.
I'm glad to take you out of your emotional masochistic hero worship bubble. I mean, like, it's funny because like, well, I don't know. I mean, I've cried during some movies that you would not expect somebody to. So I think a lot of movies can end up being kind of like, they can be a little dramatic just for the effect on the audience. But, you know, like, did you ever see the movie Sweet November with Keanu Reeves? And
yes.
Dude,
that's a good one.
That's some heavy shit.
That is a sad movie though. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's the only film I feel like Keanu Reeves has been in where he hasn't either been Neo or the guy from is he Bill in Bill and Ted?
No, he was Ted. I think he was Ted.
So he's either Neo or Ted. Those are basically the only roles.
Pretty much, yeah. Even like even Constantine was kind of Neo, right? Yeah.
Constantine's definitely Neo. John Wick is totally Neo.
Yeah, John Wick is just Neo, yeah.
Yeah.
John Wick is like Neo that is hacked out of the Matrix and into Call of Duty. And like he got bored with like the regular Matrix, and he's like, all right, let's just go into Activision servers and let's play.
Yeah. That's a very strange thing to say about the film, but I understand why you said it.
No, not the film, the character.
Oh, I mean, John Wick has inspired an entire generation of jackassery. I'm sure that there's like all kinds of kids right now that have seen the movie too many times that weren't supposed to because their parents wouldn't let them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is true. That is like it's so weird to think of things in like generational lenses like that, but that is like probably there's a generation that was like their what was it for us, like Predator or movies like that. It was
Total Recall, something with Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone in it, most likely.
But like an R-rated action movie that like you really wanted to see when you were 8 and you couldn't, and then your friend had it at a sleepover, and you're like, yes.
Yeah, True Lies was one for me.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah,
another Jamie Lee Curtis movie, right?
Do what?
Wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies?
Yeah, was in that. Yep. Jamie Lee Curtis was definitely in that movie.
She had a small part.
Like seriously, like if Jamie Lee Curtis like tomorrow said, "Let's get married," I'd be like, "Let me sell all my shit." I'll be right there.
Why is she gonna make you sell all your shit? I don't understand. She just
proposed. It makes it more dramatic that I don't
understand. Like, hold on. So when a woman proposes you, do you just have to sell all of your stuff? Is that what happens?
She moves far away. I mean, she lives far away, so I have to move far away. So I have to sell all my shit. Look, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't come to you. You go to Jamie Lee Curtis. That's how that works.
Have you ever heard of moving trucks? There's U-Hauls. You can actually take your shit with you.
But
like it's
it's more fun this way.
I just don't think you like your shit. You just want you're looking for a reason to get rid of all your shit. And
this story exists in an alternate universe in which I sell my shit.
Okay. But in this universe, if Jamie Lee Curtis proposed to you tomorrow,
well, in this universe, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't propose to me tomorrow.
We don't know that. Not with that attitude.
We have completely derailed the direction of this episode.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that happens. We're good at that.
If you start with Keanu Reeves, wait, drama, Sweet November, Keanu Reeves, John Wick, crazy movies we couldn't see when we were kids, Arnold Schwarzenegger, True Lies, Jamie Lee Curtis, back to Knives Out, done.
Yeah, I was about to say we can circle back. Yeah, it's easy.
I had to trace the tracks and derail the episode even more. So yeah, I mean, I think that the funny things about this movie are the fact that the reason why they're funny is because like these are all like character flaws that we all kind of fight, that we think of as like,
yes.
And that the fact that there's people like this that actually exist is kind of crazy to me, because I mean, there are people that are that low in self-awareness and so high in narcissism and entitlement, that, it's kind of like sad but true, kind of like so shitty that it's funny. But I think it's interesting that we find characters with deep character flaws to be so humorous, because not all of them are, like you mentioned Joffrey from Game of Thrones. That's one that has deep character flaws that you kind of hate.
Yeah.
But there's others where you can just look at them and laugh at them like they're the subject of ridicule. Or
well, a lot of
Commodus, Joaquin Phoenix and Gladiator.
Yes. Yeah. Well, a lot of times it depends on the actions of the character. If they do a lot of like what you consider just kind of like fucked up shit, then it's easy to hate them. But if they're just kind of a prick or stupid and they don't actually end up being like malicious, then it's just kind of like more like laughable or almost it. And that is the one thing I love about that type of feeling for me is it's kind of shitty to say, but really stupid characters or characters like doing dumb stuff or in bad situations just kind of makes you feel better about yourself, and it makes it a little more laughable because it's like, oh yeah, at least I'm not this fucking idiot. Like,
that is true. I mean, it's there is a degree of that in all of us too. Like, I could be that dumb. But I will say though that like now that you mention that, like people doing fucked up shit, it makes me think like Ransom, for instance. They make you really dislike him at the end. They make you okay with what happens. Yeah, he takes Fran out, like injects her with like morphine. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely trying to kill her in the worst way. They do a good job of like turning things around really quickly to make you dislike the character. Plus, a part of you already kind of wants to dislike him. Yeah, just because of how prickish he is. Yeah, he's such a little prick. He's such a little rich boy. Speaking real quick, they did something really interesting that I read this on like one of the like trivia things. They did something really cool with his wardrobe, where they wanted Ryan Johnson's notes were like they wanted him to have very nice clothes that he didn't take care of. So he had like a really nice sweater with holes in the elbows. There's a hole in it. I noticed that. Yeah. And he had like really nice loafers, but they were super wore down on the heels and shit. And it was just like it was a really cool detail to the character that like kind of brought stuff together. I love stuff like that goes probably unnoticed consciously, but it subconsciously plays into just what you're taking in about this character. Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever see The Adjustment Bureau? Oh yeah, actually, dude, I actually really like that movie. I know a lot of people don't, but I like it. It was sort of silly, but I enjoyed it very much. Like when he does the thing where he admits about the scuffing on the shoes. Yes. And like that there's, you want to scuff them up a little bit because people associate that with, high-priced lawyers and doctors, but you don't want to alienate the doctors and the lawyers. So there's a specific degree of scuffing that has to be on the shoes. And like that kind of, I think, plays into it because there is like I guess a degree of marketing. You're marketing the characters in a specific way. Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I mean, it's the marketing, and it's just also, first of all, it has to be believable. It has to fit into the environment. It would just look stupid if everything on a person was brand new, and it's just like you could tell that the shoes had never been worn before. It's like, well, that doesn't look realistic. But then it's also like, yeah, it just kind of plays into, like when you look at someone, you do like some sort of subconscious sizing up where it's like, okay, who is this character? What am I learning about them from this intro? And it's like all the parts of the costume, I guess, play into that. Yeah. And, I think that maybe Now that I think about it, I think costume designers are probably some of the people in films that we overlook the most.
Yeah.
But movies like that are period films, like even like A Knight's Tale isn't really what you would call a period film, but the costumes are amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of
There's
hard
like
work.
armor and things, and I guess I just take for granted that people have to make that stuff and put it together and determine like what looks good and what doesn't, and all the custom things that are made for films. I'm sure that most of the stuff that Ransom's wearing you could probably buy, but it's the fact that they spent so much time trying to like, you know, make it look a certain way and fit the vision they had for the character.
Speaking of things you could buy from this movie, apparently there's a website that sells the My House, My Rules, My Coffee mug. I kind of want it. I love the mug she has at the end there.
That's like a thing that like everyone's dad says is like a power play though. I hate that shit.
Yeah, but that's why it's funny.
I would feel filthy if I had that mug. It is cool, and I mean, I think it's awesome that they sell it as like a novelty piece.
Yeah, like the Office Space Red Swin line that you can buy.
Yeah,
it's like actually like branded with like Mike Judge and everything. Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even remember that mug from the movie. I was just playing along, and I feel
you don't remember
awful. I don't at all.
It's the very final scene where she's standing on the balcony and like she owns the house. It's hers. All of the family is like down below her in the driveway, and she's just like standing up, looking at them, sipping her coffee, and like probably about to tell them to get off her property. And she's just like sipping out of a mug that says "My House, My Rules, My Coffee."
Well, I thought you were talking about I was talking about the one from Office Space.
The Office. Oh, the stapler, the red Swin line. It's not a mug. It's a red Swin line stapler. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why I was so fucking confused. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it now.
Apparently before that movie they never made a red Swin line, and then there was that like thing in the movie about I forget what the name of the character was, but he loved his stapler.
Milton. That movie was based on a comic strip featuring Milton exclusively.
Yes, I forgot about that. That's right.
Well, not exclusively. He was like the main character.
Yeah. But yeah, he after that movie released though, there was a big demand for a red Swin line, so they started making it, and then like you actually like you buy it in a box that even says like official Office Space stapler, and it has like the characters' faces on it and everything. It's kind of cool.
It's like weird because I'm like, oh, I don't want that mug, but that stapler. I would actually love to have one.
Stapler is pretty cool, yeah. PC load letter. What the fuck does that mean?
Huh?
It's the line from Office Space where the printer that always jams on them, and it says, or it's not jamming. It's never mind. Well, when we do Office Space, we'll talk about that.
We're doing Office Space.
I don't know.
I mean, we can do Office Space. Office Space is the reason why I prank called every Michael Bolton in the phone book.
Did you really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What did you say to them?
I just told them what a big fan I was.
I'm such a big fan. That's actually really. Did you really do that?
Yes, I really did. Ask Craig, he was there.
What age?
Craig,
like when was this? You're like, oh, this is last week. Yeah, it was when we hung out last weekend. You know?
Phone book though, that's the dating there.
True.
We were in high school. I think we were like 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there.
That sounds like something we would do at that age. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
But
there were only like 2 Michael Boltons though, so yeah.
That's it? That's disappointing. That was incredible.
There weren't that many,
yeah. We need a bigger phone. Well, now we have the internet. Now let's call every new idea for the podcast next year. Every episode we call a number of Michael Boltons on like with a VoIP phone. Like we just dial them in and we keep until we get a Michael Bolton as a guest. The goal is just to have an episode where we interview a Michael Bolton, and we will exhaust every Michael Bolton until we find one.
Well, any fans that we had are now gone.
That's for next year, though.
Let us know in the comments below how much you hate the idea.
Please, yeah. That would actually be hilarious to do that and cap it at the end of the year with the real Michael Bolton. Actually, like pay the money to land him.
If we could get the real Michael Bolton, I would do it. I would sell all my shit.
Yeah. Is he still alive?
Yes, he's still alive.
I don't know.
Him and Jake Gyllenhaal are both alive.
Is he still making music?
I hope not.
Google. Michael Bolton. Nope, passed away 2017.
No way.
No, I'm just kidding. No, he's still alive.
Oh, dude, that would have just ruined my life. Wow, his hair was really bad in the 90s.
Everyone's hair was bad in the 90s. Wow, he's now getting into acting and directing. Interesting. Okay.
We should just do an episode of Michael Bolton next.
I'm just trying to see if he still makes music, but no, I don't think he does. But anyways, are you ready to jump to favorite line, or do you got anything else you still want to touch on?
Yeah, I'm ready for the favorite line, but like I actually have a line that I think is a seriously good line.
Okay.
And then I have another one that I think is comically good.
Okay. So
can I do both? Can I cheat?
Of course, yeah, you can cheat.
I mean, obviously that means you get two also if you have a first and a second.
No, I've only got one.
Do you want me to do both of mine, or do you want to alternate?
Let's alternate. You do your first one, I'll do mine, and then you can cap it off with your final one.
Okay, I'm gonna do this silly one first, the comedic one, and then I'll do the one that I think is a good serious line. So the comedic one. Oh wait, are we still doing impressions?
Yeah. We're supposed to deliver it as close to the delivery as possible. Yeah.
All right. Strong case from the start. A case with a hole in the middle. A donut.
All right, that's good.
I talked about it earlier, but I still think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't end up doing it, because I really did practice that entire speech, but it would have it only would have worked if it would have come out of nowhere and not have been mentioned multiple times in the episode. But no, I loved this line. I think this line perfectly encapsulates the past few years of people. Like this is people in 2019 and 2020 in a nutshell. Wait a minute. I read a tweet about a New Yorker article about you. That is people. Yeah, people don't read articles. They don't they read a tweet about the article.
We didn't talk about Joni, and actually that character was fucking great. Toni Collette, I think is that.
Yeah, I love that actress. Yeah, she's in a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I thought that character was really good. Played very, very well. Isn't she British?
I don't know what her natural accent is. Dude, that might be another Hugh Laurie. I didn't know Hugh Laurie was British for years. That was a big surprise to me when I first heard his name. I just knew him as House. So when I heard his real voice, I was like, what the fuck is going on? This dude's British accent is great.
And he's a really good singer too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's phenomenal. Oh, so what's your final line?
Australian.
Oh, is she really?
Australian.
Okay.
Yeah. So the serious one that I liked, you will find me a respectful, quiet, passive observer of the truth.
I liked that line too, actually. Yeah. I almost chose that. Well, first of all, I almost chose a serious line, but then too many comedic lines jumped out at me. But I specifically didn't choose that line because I thought you might have, because I know that a lot of the times when we talk about the ideas of argument or debate trying to find the truth, that's that line just felt like a distance line to me.
I just like the reason why I like it so much is because he tries to make himself seem harmless and then puts that little stab at the end.
Yeah.
That's the thing I like the most about it. But yes, I mean, I am someone that likes to, figure out what's true and do the arguing and also find out that I'm wrong. Yeah. That happens a lot.
What is a good feeling though? Man, being wrong can be a really fucking good feeling.
I dig it. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. It's a well, we're both kind of people that sometimes enjoy the discomfort, because it is it's an uncomfortable feeling, but it's a growing feeling though too.
That's why I do the devil's advocate thing so much.
Okay, so guys, next week we are going to watch this is an interesting movie. Have I told you anything about it yet?
Nope, not a damn thing.
Sweet. Okay. I think it would be great to just go into it completely blind. I'm not going to tell you anything. The movie is just called Only. It came out in 2019, and it's on Netflix right now. So if you guys want to watch it and then join us next week, we will be discussing Only. And that is going to bring us to the end of another episode of the Metacast Movie Show. If you are watching this on YouTube and you've enjoyed the discussion, hit the like button, subscribe to keep up to date, and comment below and tell us how you felt about Knives Out. If you want to further keep up to date with what we're doing, or even be a guest on a future episode, please join our Discord. The link is in the description down below. And we will be live next week on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/TylaTV. Thanks everyone for listening, and I hope you have a great week.